Hey guys, welcome back to MotoringBox. I'm Sean McKellar and today we're having a bit of a catch-up day. So terribly sorry there's nothing specific happening in this episode, but I am going to take care of a few little projects and little things which I need to get ready for in the coming month or two. So as far as updates go, I can happily tell you guys out there who've been waiting for this car to be tuned. My BA XR6 Turbo is going to be tuned next month in December. So it will be done in time for Christmas. Hopefully I'll have an episode out before Christmas for that. But beforehand, I need to get these Crocam valve springs installed. So the guy who's tuning it can't actually install these for me. So I have had to find a different workshop to get those installed. So that's going to be happening in about 2 weeks. And then yes, just before Christmas, this car will be tuned. So that should be very exciting. I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully it doesn't blow up on the dyno or throw a rod out the side of the block or something dramatic. So yeah, there are a few other little things on the ECU that I need to just fix up before I take it out to get tuned as well. Things like the reverse lockout on the gearbox just is on all the time because I think it's set by default to trigger from 0 kilometers per hour upwards. It just really sort of stops you from getting into reverse unless you grab the stick with both hands, which I do have to do sometimes, and then force it into reverse. So if I sort of set that to say 5 or 10 Ks per hour, anything below that, it'll let you go into reverse. So I just need to fix that up. There's a few other little things as well that I want to tweak to do with the learning of the fuel trims and things like that. But yeah, obviously the rest of it's going to get taken care of when the car gets tuned. So yes, this car is running pretty well at the moment. Looking forward to getting it tuned. The old AU though, she's got a cold start problem once again. So another thing I'm going to do down here today is I've got my laptop, I've got my Forscan little adapter. I'm going to hook that up, see if I can read any codes off the ECU. If there aren't any codes, it might be a fuel related issue like last time, which is like the fuel filter, hopefully not the injectors because they're brand new. It might be the fuel reg as well, which hides down the back here. So yeah, we'll plug the Forscan in as well, see if we can get any codes off it. If not, then we're gonna have to do some more hunting. So yeah, it's a bit of a mess down here actually as well. I've never really properly shown what my little garage space here looks like, but it is getting a little bit out of control because I just don't have very much storage space. So over the next couple of weeks, I am going to be doing some little modifications down here. I've got this old workbench. This actually came with my house when I bought it. It's just a really crappy old sort of galvanized aluminium sort of workbench. The top is kind of just particle board and it's kind of blowing out a little bit. So I got a timber top for $100 from Bunnings. I'm going to slap that on. Might cut this little top shelf off here. It's got my Fairlane grill on it. Don't really need that, so I'll probably get an angle grinder and just cut them off at the base there. I am also going to move this bench across a little bit, and I've got a second one of these cabinets in a box right here. I'm probably going to set him up in the corner, move the bench down a little bit, move that cabinet down a little bit, and just give myself a bit of a better sort of a space here for storage and working on things. Not really sure what I'm going to do with these cupboards. They're a little bit rusty, a little bit old and crappy. But yeah, I'm going to try and make my life down here a little bit easier. Give myself some more storage because it is a bit of a pigsty down here at the moment. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm probably going to do that in the lead up to Christmas or over the holidays. I do have some new lighting as well, which I'm testing out. Haven't quite got it set up properly yet, but I do sort of want to reconfigure this shelving that's up the top here as well and just try and neaten this whole space up. Make it better for filming and just make it easier for me to work and get around this space when I'm down here. So yeah, I think that's all I was doing today. From memory, there was nothing else. So yeah, let's just kick on. I might hook Forscan up to the old AU first and see what's up with that. And then, oh, one more thing. I actually need to flush the power steering on my BA XR6 Turbo. It's got a bit of a shudder at low speed when you're trying to park and things like that. I've actually gone with the recommended fluid, which is the Mobile Fluid 424. This should be what goes in the AU as well, and this is actually what I swapped out into the AU. Anyone watching the channel may remember I put in a different fluid. I don't remember what it was, but I did actually come back later and swap it out for this stuff, and it did seem to be a little bit happier on that fluid. So yeah, we're going to be flushing that out as well. Not really going to document the whole process, but I have filmed a video doing the same job on the AU, so I will put a link up here in the corner for anyone wanting the full details on that. So yeah, let's start with Forscan. Peel back the Forscan and see what's happening with this old girl. So connecting to Forscan is dead set easy. I've got this OBD2 adapter. It goes in to the OBD2 plug in your fuse panel. Turn the ignition on, and we should be able to connect. So we've got this already set up in the system. So we've found a couple of DTCs by the look of it. So let's have a look. Powertrain control module, no errors found. Audio control module, speaker line short circuit. That's weird. I did just put new speakers into this car, but they are all working correctly, so I don't really see what that could be. Instrument cluster, none, okay. Look, so there's no real problems here apart from apparently an issue with the speakers. But look, I'll just show you what happens, because it is really annoying. So this car is cold. Let's try and start it. So the first start never goes now, unfortunately, but then you try it a second time. One of my pulleys is squeaky as well. So yeah, I probably won't mess around with this car today, but I might have to replace the fuel filter and maybe the fuel reg as well. It is really annoying because this is exactly what the car was doing about a year ago, I think it was, or 6 or 8 months ago. So yeah, it's a little bit frustrating, and it makes the car just sound horrible, like like you're driving a piece of shit because it just won't start. So it's not a good look, unfortunately. But yeah, I'll probably have to pop down to Supercheap later and buy a fuel filter. They're nice and cheap, and you can just whack them in and see if it changes anything. But yeah, for now, I'll probably have to leave it alone, and we'll turn our attention to the BA. All right, so we're back to the BA Falcon now, and we're just updating our Haltech ESP software. What I'm going to have to do as well with this car is before it goes to get tuned, I'm going to have to swap it across to the new Nexus software. So the latest version of Haltech ESP actually has a tool which lets you convert your Haltech Pro plugin ECU to Nexus instead of the ESP software. My tuner does prefer that software, so at some point, I won't do it today, but at some point I will need to convert that all across. But for now, we'll update to the latest version of the software. And yeah, we'll just do a little bit of extra configuration. Fix the lockout issue on reverse, because it's just locked out all the time, which is not ideal. It makes you look like you're weak when you can't even shift your car into reverse without using 2 hands. It's kind of ridiculous. But isn't it crazy? You know, I started out modifying this thing around this time my son was born, just after April. I think it was in May I started doing that. And here we are in late November, and it won't be tuned until December. So it's been a long journey, and I'm terribly sorry that it's taken so long. But we're going to get there, and hopefully it'll be a really cool result in the end. Connect. So one of the main benefits of going to the Nexus software is the connection time that it takes to actually connect from your laptop to the ECU is a lot quicker than this. It actually takes about a good minute or 2 for this thing to connect and then sort of sync up everything. Especially this step where it's preparing the map for display. It just goes on for ages, and the software kind of locks up a little bit, and it just takes ages for everything to sort of populate in down the side here. So it's currently reading all the settings. It's a bit hard to film this, but bear with me. And yeah, it just takes a while, you know, 69, 70%, 92, 94. This is the long-term fuel trim. So this is kind of the ECU's self-learning going on. As you drive the car, it's kind of adjusting the tune to suit what's happiest for the engine. And you can sort of change the severity of how quickly it'll adjust these values. At the moment, I've got it set pretty quick. So if the car notices that a particular RPM and loading needs to be adjusted, it'll adjust it pretty quick. But now that it's kind of done quite a bit of that already, I'm going to turn down the speed. So you go back here to the long-term fuel trim gain, that's right. And from memory, these settings are set from 0 to 100, with 0 being pretty much no learning and then 100 being the quickest learning. So these are all set to 50. I'm probably going to knock it down to maybe 10 or even 5. I might go for 10 because the car is running and I don't want it to be sort of messing around with the map really quick. I want it to do it a bit more slowly now, so that's all good. And one other thing was the lockout for reverse. So if we go up here into the setup, main setup, I also need to figure out as well, there's some settings to do with the transmission gear sensor, to do with what gear it's in. It's not set up properly, so I always have to go in here and sort of clear these little errors out until next time. So that's unfortunate. But there should be, there we go, there's one here, reverse lockout. So if we go into the little options here, reverse lockout speed 0. So I'm not going to be going into reverse at any speed faster than say 5 k's an hour. So I'm probably going to set that to 5. And then hopefully when I start the car up next time and I'm just idling, and I can, hopefully then I'll be able to put it straight into reverse without using 2 hands. So yeah, let's see how that goes. Actually, you know what, while I'm here, I might actually update the ECU to use the, they call it NSP software. So let's see if it's as easy as Scott from Haltech reckoned it was in his video. So if this all succeeds, this will be the last time I'll be ever using the ESP software. I'll be going straight to Nexus NSP. And it does look pretty amazing, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. I guess this makes a lot of sense for Haltech, so they're not having to update and support 2 different softwares when they can both pretty much do the same thing. So yeah, this should close, and here we go. My only concern with all of this is whether there was going to be any issue with the base map I've got loaded, because God, if there was any problem and it couldn't transfer that map across, then the car wouldn't start anymore. So I'm kind of taking a little bit of a risk. Well, I'm putting a lot of trust into Haltech here, I guess. We successfully upgraded the firmware of the Elite ECU to work with this software. So let's hit OK. Awesome. There's our base fuel tuning map. And look, I'm going to have a poke around because everything is similar, but just a little bit different. So yeah, let's see what's going on. I have quite a few things here to sort out. I'm not going to film it all. It's just entering, say, the vehicle name, alternator control enable, torque converter enable. Yeah, okay, I'm going to have to go through all that. But yeah, it's up and running at the very least. Right, I've got it all looking pretty good now. There's still some errors here to do with torque converter enable, and it's telling me to enable the torque converter control, but this car is a manual, so I'm not really sure what the hell it's talking about. It is currently turned off. That is actually off. So yeah, I'm not really sure. You can turn it on, but I don't want it on, I want it off. So yeah, anyway, the car still runs, still drives, so I'm just going to leave that for the tuner to have a look at later. Otherwise, the car's good to go. So we'll move on to the power steering flush, shall we? Okay, so here we are going for the power steering line. I've only got a shifter in this size. Just trying to reach under the car to get to the line. Just need to crack this off. As I mentioned, there is a video. I'll put a link up in the corner. It's got it. Shifter life. I do have like a little painter's drip tray just under here. And yeah, this should allow us, it won't get all of the fluid out, but it'll allow most of it to come out. Come back with some degreaser later. And yeah, we'll top up our pump with the new fluid. So it is draining quite slowly. What I am going to do though, just to make myself feel better, it may not make a massive difference, but what I'm going to do is grab some of this new mobile fluid 424 and just tip a bit down to sort of chase the old fluid out, just to try and flush it out a little bit more perhaps. I have bought 2 litres of the stuff, and I believe the system takes less than 1 litre. So I do have quite a bit spare at the moment. So yes, probably completely unnecessary, but nevertheless, let's tip some in. So let that run down till it stops, and then we'll seal the system up and then fill it up, turn the engine on, turn the wheels, get it all flowing. Okay, so our existing fluid is all drained, got the front of the car jacked up. So let's start tipping in some of this brand new Mobile Fluid 424. And we'll just have to let it go down into the system, let it flow through. I'm going to leave that for a few minutes, and then we'll come back and top it up. We can start the car, we can go lock to lock, can top it up again, which we'll definitely need to do. The existing fluid that came out of this thing was looking a little bit brown. So I'm really hoping this solves my little low speed steering shutter problem. So it's not really going down, so I might just start the car up. I won't turn the wheel at all, but we'll see how the level changes. We'll top it up, then we can start putting a bit of steering into it. Go for a bit of steering. All the way to the left. Now we're going all the way back to the right. Back to the left again. Back to the right again. Back to the center. Let's check the level. Yeah, it's gone down a little bit. Top it back up. Go back to the left lock. Back to the right lock. Back to the center. It's bang on. Shut her off. Awesome. Well, look, it remains to be seen whether that solves the problem. Fluid is churned up a bit, looks a little bit like the foam on the top of a beer. So I will have to let that settle and yeah, check it again, maybe in a day or two's time. I'm going to start it up, go lock to lock now that the wheels are weighted. We'll see if it makes any noise. I'm going to call that a success. Not a single noise. Cool. Well, there you go. That is a really simple fix. If you want to know where you can get this fluid from, the Mobile 424, you can actually buy it from any 7-Eleven petrol station. They always seem to have at least 2 bottles on the shelf unless someone's beaten you to it. So do go to your local 7-Eleven, get yourself the Mobile Fluid 424. But yeah, I think that is going to be very satisfying, knowing that it's not going to shutter anymore. So look, I don't think there's anything else I need to do this week. I do eventually need to do the bump stops in this car on the back. Once the valve springs get installed, I'm pretty sure this thing's going to be ready for tuning, so that is very exciting. Still no oil leaks or anything from this braided turbo oil feed line that I installed. So yeah, I think fingers crossed it'll be ready, and then fingers crossed as well there won't be any problems on the dyno. So yeah, that's it guys. You may not hear from me for a couple of weeks just because I'm going to be pretty busy getting it ready to be tuned. I am also going to give, as I mentioned, my garage here a bit of an overhaul. While I was waiting for the fluid in my power steering to drain, I did go ahead and put this timber bench top onto my existing sort of flimsy galvanized table. This is definitely going to do the job though. It's nice and solid. It looks a heck of a lot better than the particle board that was on there before. And yeah, as I mentioned, I am going to shuffle that over, move that cupboard down, put another cupboard in here. Might even put a lick of blue paint on the wall, maybe some extra shelving. Get rid of these crappy baskets, put them somewhere else. I am going to do my best and try and sort this out, make it a lot more bearable and livable. Yeah, but otherwise, you may not see me for a couple of weeks, unless I do have a few other video ideas, and if I have time, I'll get to them. But at the very least, you'll see me around Christmas time, hopefully with some awesome updates to do with this car here. Very exciting, really looking forward to it. And yeah, I hope you guys are too. So yeah, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good one. I'll see you next time.